What is up? Welcome back to Syrup Recaps. And the Dallas Mavericks have lost to the Boston Celtics in Game 1 of the 2024 NBA Finals. That was tough. It was a tough loss. I have a lot to talk about after that game. Yeah. Where do we even start with this? I'll say this. I think everyone except for Luka was terrible today. Let's just start from Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford, 8 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. That's really not enough. Kyrie Irving, only 12 points. Very disappointing performance, especially knowing Kyrie's history in the finals. I thought that was like the most disappointing thing for sure. PJ Washington, 14 points, 1 assist, 8 rebounds. I thought he was actually the second best player in this game for sure. I thought he brought energy. Definitely wasn't shooting as well as he did in previous games, but he was definitely the second best player. And that's really it. Everyone else was pretty bad outside of Luka. Luka with 30 points, 1 assist, 10 rebounds. Most of those, I think he would have more assists if people actually made their shots. A player, I would definitely say the worst player of this game for sure. A player that I was really hyping up in the last game, and in the last recap. Derrick Jones Jr. Horrible. Very disappointing in him. I'm very disappointed. Only 5 points. I'm surprised he even scored a bucket because he was just missing everything out there. He was like, I was questioning if he was a clone or something, because this is not Derrick Jones Jr. that I've been seeing throughout these playoffs. Like, really, like, this is shockingly awful to me, and I don't understand what happened to him today. And I don't know. Josh Green played 20 minutes, 3 points. I think that was actually a 3 he had at the very, very end of the game. Really made no impact in his 20 minutes. Maxi Kleber was also got awful. Derek Lively Jr. Fucking Jaden Hardy was probably a player that I wish I saw more, and I think that's actually one of my biggest issues with this game. I think was the lack of seeing players like a Jaden Hardy, a Tim Hardaway Jr., and a Dante Exum more, and I feel like Jason Kidd really messed up on that, especially not making more adjustments during the game. And I think what I mean by that is like quicker adjustments, because I think the Mavericks were we're not ready, clearly not as prepared as the Celtics, and I feel like the Celtics' biggest strength is that they capitalize on the opposing team's mistakes, and the Mavericks, if you look at the score, which the Mavericks lost by how many points? 18 points. They practically got blown out in the first game of the finals, and it was mostly just everyone struggled except for Luka. Luka was a one-man show out there. It looked like old Mavericks, like the Mavericks from 2 years ago. It looked like the Mavericks pre-Kyrie. It's just shocking to me. I did not expect them to be this bad, especially the way they were playing through these whole playoffs. Like, it's shocking how bad they were. I feel like, and also just Luka only having 1 assist is crazy to me. I didn't even know I thought he had maybe 3 or 4, but yeah, 1 assist is crazy. But most of those, I feel like he could probably had a triple double tonight if everyone played up to the standard that they've been playing this whole playoff run. This game really reminded me of the very first game of this playoff run, all the way back in the first round against the Clippers, where they got blown out in LA, where the team didn't really look cohesive. I was definitely very concerned after that game, but obviously we are here now in the NBA Finals, so obviously a lot has changed for sure. Definitely disappointing. I'm just like, I do think for Game 2, I do think we should see more minutes. I think I'll say it again, see more minutes from Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway Jr., and maybe give Dante Exum some time, especially I think when Kyrie's struggling out there. I do think they should do some adjustments. Maybe play more Hardy, maybe play more Exum. Definitely play more Tim Hardaway Jr. He only had 8 minutes. I don't even think they had any plays for him, because he had a classic Tony Snell stat line of 0, 0, and 0. And we really needed a classic vintage Tim Hardaway Jr. run, because we really needed scoring today. And And we only lost by 18, which I think is still pretty, I think it shows that we still have a chance in this series. It is only game one. We shouldn't overreact, for sure. I don't think we really don't need anything to really be worried about, because I feel like, they did play well. Celtics were like really, really good today. A good team performance. Jalen Brown had 22 points. Jason Tatum, only 16 points for Jason Tatum. I didn't even know that. I thought he had more, judging by the way that everyone was playing. Al Horford only had 10, but Derek White 15, Drew Holiday 12. Kristaps Porzingis was definitely the biggest factor for them. He went crazy in only 21 minutes. He scored 20 points. Insane stuff from them. But I feel like, definitely Luka and Kyrie definitely have more in the tank. Luka, I think, gave a pretty good game. Definitely not making as much threes as he was especially in the last game against the Timberwolves. But yeah, I think if everyone plays better, I do think we will win game 2. I doubt the Mavericks will go back to Dallas and be down 0-2. I think they will go 1-1 in game 2. That's probably my prediction for game 2. Like, I don't know. I'm just shocked. But I was expecting a way closer game, because I was thinking about how the way the Celtics were playing going into this game and how the Mavericks were playing. I was expecting the Mavericks to match up to the way the Celtics were, but the Celtics, I feel like the issue with this game, I feel like the Mavericks really lost it. And what I mean by that, I feel like it was definitely the Celtics' defense today. And also, it was definitely their offense, because every time the Celtics would go on an offensive run, the Mavericks looked really discombobulated. Definitely look like a completely different team from what we were seeing in the first round, the semifinals, and the Western Conference Finals. I was just, definitely a completely different team today. Definitely a team that was not ready for the onslaught of Kristaps Porzingis, because Kristaps return. This was his first game back after missing the second round and the conference finals. So I'm guessing they weren't ready for him, and I feel like the way Porzingis' play when he came in, and he definitely I feel like ignited that Celtics team and really took over, and that inspired the other players to play better. And his 20 points were probably the biggest reason why the Mavericks were not in a closer game. And it was a mix of what the Celtics were doing, but I feel like it's more a game where it was more about the Mavericks themselves beating themselves than the opposing team. Something I haven't seen in a while from the Mavericks. I don't think I've seen them since I haven't seen this since like maybe December for them. And yeah, I think that was the biggest issue today, was definitely that. They beat themselves today. I think for game 2 they just gotta again play Tim Hardaway Jr. Maybe definitely play Jaden Hardy way more, and maybe a little bit Dante Exum. Depends on how Kyrie and maybe the other role players like Derrick Jones Jr., Josh Green, Gafford, and what's his name, Lively. Definitely, if those guys struggle, you definitely got to you got to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks for sure. And again, I'll say, I think if they do that, I think they will win game 2. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just shocked. I'll give the 3. I'll definitely say like the J.R. Smith award will definitely go to Kristaps Porzingis, because he was just a monster today. Just straight coming from a calf injury, I was expecting him to kind of struggle and not be ready. But he came in, he really, asserted dominance, man. He was a beast out there, hitting threes, driving to the paint, rim protection, crazy stuff today from him. Give it up to him, especially coming off an injury. In his first game of, first career finals game, playing like that, good for him, man. Luka Doncic also balled out, 30 points too. Good job. I think they're all, I do think the Mavericks still win in 6, though. I think it's just game 1. Hopefully, Kyrie, I hope this type of play doesn't really move on to game 2 and game 3 and game 4 for sure. I think Kyrie will definitely bounce back from this. I'm kind of more worried about the younger players like a Gafford, a Lively, Derrick Jones Jr., because they've never really been in this position before, because they're like main players on like a finals team. And I think today was just, I think the lights were too bright, and maybe all the jitters are away now, and I think they will probably show up for game 2. Yeah, so overall, the Mavericks need to make their adjustments quicker. Jason Kidd definitely should play Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Hardy, and Dante Exum a little bit more, especially when role players like Derrick Jones Jr. and Josh Green are struggling. They should definitely give those guys some chances, especially we need like offense, especially against the Celtics team for sure. All right. That is all. I'm Jalen, and this has been Syrup Recaps.